Welcome to another episode of the Roughly Related to Reselling podcast. My name is Perry Phillips, and up until recently, I went by Pothead Picker on Instagram. But I finally changed my Instagram handle. I don't know why. I don't like the name anymore. I liked it when I first did it. I thought it would be cooler than it was. I was wrong. You know what I mean? Honestly, I thought I would get like a weed sponsorship. I still think I can get a weed sponsorship eventually. But yeah, I decided to change the name. Plus, pothead is kind of like an outdated term, you know what I mean? People don't really say that shit anymore. I could hear my mom yelling. We live like on the same property. Our houses touch, but like she's got her own side and we have our own side. But when I'm down recording where I'm recording, I can just hear her yelling at her cats. I don't know if I've talked about that on here before, but yeah, she's just over there screaming at her cats. I'll be shocked if it doesn't get picked up on the microphone. But anyway, yeah, so it's Perry Flips with a Z. I didn't even say the new name like a fucking idiot. I'm just here just like babbling about the old one. So Perry Flips with a Z. I try to do Perry Flips just regular and not like fucking stupid ass like extreme with a Z, but I hate underscores in the name, and so I just did Flips with a Z. So it's just Perry Flips, like Perry Phillips, but with Flips with a Z. I could have done Perry Flips with a PH, I guess. Doesn't somebody do that? Is there somebody who does that already? Let me see. I feel like there's somebody who does that. But anyway. So yeah, new name. Oh yeah, there is somebody who does that. The Philly Flipper. So I would just look like I was fucking copying him if I did it. You know what I mean? I knew I saw it somewhere. I was like, who was it? So, but my last name is like Phillips, you know what I mean? So it would be like Flips, you know. So I don't know. I don't know if that would be like. I don't think I wouldn't really be copying, right? I don't know. I'll stick with the Z for now and see how it goes. See how life as a Z goes. Anyway, it was another weekend. I did a yard sale this weekend. I didn't actually plan on doing a yard sale. So the last time I did a podcast, I think like there was a stomach bug going through the house. The stomach bug is just leaving. It was like 5 days at a time. But my daughter got it. My daughter's been getting it first because she's at school, and then she brings it home to fucking us. And so she just like, you know, had diarrhea and shit for like 5 days. Then she gave it to me. I had like the shits for like, you know, a day or two, and then I was done. But my youngest, man, it was like a week of just like the first 3 days she was puking like the whole day. And then there was like, she woke up at night with puke and shit and puke and shit. It was just, there was puke and shit all over the house. Like we just finished cleaning everything because I think it's finally done. But it was like, it was a lot, man. It was a lot of fucking shit and puke. So I didn't plan on doing a yard sale for that reason. But like, it was a nice day. It was the weather was predicting to be like clear and sunny, and there weren't too many yard sales that I was really felt like I was going to miss out on. And but I didn't have like a ton of stuff. I mean, I had a ton of stuff for, you know, your average yard sale. But for like my yard sales, I usually have way more stuff. Like it all fit in my driveway. Normally my stuff is spilling out because I live at a dead end. So like normally I spill it out into like where we park our cars. I move the cars and I just like goes out into essentially the street or whatever. But yeah, there was just not enough stuff. I didn't have that much stuff. I usually go through my inventory and pull stuff. I have a ton of clothes right now, but the problem is that like a lot of them aren't even listed yet. I've been, taking inventory as it's been coming in, unless I've had to like clean it and stuff. And I've tried to not get stuff that I needed to clean, but some stuff is just, you kind of got to grab it. And so I'm just like, I'm not like crazy behind, but I've been pretty good about keeping up with my stuff. And so I was like, all right, I'll just do a yard sale. But I had a ton of stuff that I had put away, and I just found more shit that I forgot that I had put aside for the yard sale. It wasn't like a ton of stuff. It was just like a handful of stuff. But it wasn't as busy as my sales usually are. I usually list it like a few days in advance too. But Facebook was dicking me around. Like they removed I've never had this happen. I do it the same way every time. And this time they removed it. And they said that's because I'm not selling something. But first I tried to do free. That's probably where I fucked up. But then when I reviewed the thing, like then I redid it and then reviewed it because they said no again. And then after the review, it went up. But people commented on it and sent me messages about the post. So it went through at some point. But I don't know if that affected how many people showed up or not. So in the future, I'll post the Facebook one earlier. I just honestly wasn't sure. I was like, fuck, I don't know if I'm going to do a yard sale yet. So now I'm done with yard sales for the year. Probably won't do another one until, spring. But Whatnot should keep us busy. So I'm excited about that because this will be my first Q4. Like I always do really well with eBay Q4, but we're going to do some Whatnot auctions. We're going to do some Facebook stuff. So this will be like the first year that I've been doing on multiple listings. So I don't know if like eBay will suffer because I'm pretty good about staying on top of listings because like I mainly focus on eBay. So I'm like, when I get new stuff in, I'm taking pictures of it, and then when I have time, I'm going through and doing my old shit. Like I've gotten pretty efficient with cleaning and shit. Right now I'm working on a big bin of fucking Legos, and if you listen to the podcast, I fucking hate Legos. I love Legos. I think they're fun, they're cool. I was big into Legos when I was a kid. Like not big into them, I just would like to play with the figures, and like I hated fucking sitting down and following the instructions. I like it now. When I was a kid, I hated instructions. My wife hates instructions. Like if she goes to she'll be like, oh, I can do this project or whatever if like you don't feel like doing it. Or like I used to get like really frustrated when I would do shit because I just like I've never been like a dad. I've never had to do like handiwork shit. I just never knew how to do all that shit. And so now we have our own house, and so like you have to do that shit. And so at first I would get frustrated, and over time I've gotten less and less frustrated. I still get frustrated from time to time, but my wife would be like, "Do you want me to do it?" Because like you get frustrated, but like this fucking bitch doesn't even read the instructions. Like so she'll be doing something and she won't read any of the instructions, and so it's like, well, at least I sit there and read the instructions. I might be like a little frustrated at times, but I'm doing what I got to do. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. That was a long way of saying like I fucking hate Legos, but anyway, jeez. So yeah, so I don't know why I started talking about why I'm going through the Legos, but anyway, had a yard sale. I did really well. I mean, not like really well. Like my goal was to make $200 with the stuff that I had. I made just under $200. And I closed up at like, after 2 hours. And I just put everything, like I left the garage sale signs up, but I just put everything in a free pile. And so like if you showed up for the yard sale, it was just there free. You know what I mean? And then once the sale was done, I was supposed to end at noon, but it was like 10 o'clock. So I was like, all right, let's just start breaking it up. So like 10:30, I was probably done. And then we took a walk. We walked around the neighborhood, and there were still a few people coming. But they took like, all the stuff. So I think it's down to like one bag, like a bag they give you from a store. I think it was a Vera Bradley bag actually that I got at a yard sale. Not like it's just like a paper bag. with like clothes and some stuffed animals, and then one little box, not even, it's a small like little box of stuff, and then like a couple other things that didn't fit in there. But yeah, pretty much got rid of all the shit that's been just sitting here. So now I can go and get more shit. But no, I'm hoping like, because this is the time of year obviously where yard sales are starting. I mean, in New England they run until it starts to get really cold. So like there'll probably be another 2 weeks of sales, and then like the competition gets stiff for, you got to get to shit early, you got to fuck it, you know what I mean? It's like the winter time is really shitty for picking. I usually take a few weeks off, and like, unless there's like a sale that I'm like, fuck, I really want to be the first one to that sale. You know what I mean? But like, I won't take my daughter out usually anymore. Once it's like this time of year, it's just not worth it. So yeah. So had the sale. So yeah, it got down to a few things. So I guess it was a successful sale. There's a guy who came who's like, I see him all the time. You know what I mean? So like we're friendly or whatever. But me and this other guy are there, you know, this other guy's there talking to me about like sales that he's going to. He's another guy I know. And he's telling me, we were talking about one sale that we were confused about because it was like listed in one place, but then it said it was in another place. But then when you put it in the GPS, it took you right by my house. So it didn't make any sense, like where the fuck this place was. So finally the ad was updated. So we knew where it was, and like we figured out where it was. So that's what we were talking about. And this guy overheard us, and he's like, "Oh, what's the neighborhood?" We told him like the street address or whatever. And he goes, "Oh, that's a bad neighborhood." And he goes, "Yeah, that's a bad neighborhood." He goes, "There's a lot of Puerto Ricans there." He fucking, and I'm just like, because I'm Puerto Rican, you know what I mean? But I'm not like, you know, I wasn't offended. I thought, I always think that shit's funny. And it's people always say, whenever people say racist shit to me, it's always weirdly specifically Puerto Rican. I'm like, do they secretly know? You know what I mean? Like anytime I have an interaction that's quote unquote racist, like that, that was pretty racist. It was pretty funny. He was just, he was like, yeah, it's not a great neighborhood. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans. Like, okay. Like, so I guess I should be fine. That's what I should have said, but I didn't. It was too early in the morning, you know what I mean? And I couldn't think of anything witty. I just been setting up since 5 o'clock in the morning. And so it's like, you know, I actually got up and set up, and I started setting up at like 5:10. And then I was done by like just before 6 o'clock. I was like, well, fuck, I could have slept for another hour. But instead, I had got up super early. And yeah, so now I'm waiting. This guy's supposed to come here to hook up a dryer. We bought a dryer because our dryer shit the bed. It was working, but it just wasn't getting hot. So this fucking guy is supposed to... One person came and brought it earlier, and then the next guy comes and sets it up, I guess, because of the hookups or whatever. So we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. But I'm just sitting here waiting for this fucking person to come. So I might have to stop the podcast. It's supposed to come from 1 to 3. The first guy came like right when he was supposed to be here at like 8. Well, no, he came like 15 minutes after his window had started, which is fine because I was just getting home from dropping my kid off at school. And so they came and dropped it off. It was fucking 2 seconds, bim, bam, boom. And now the next person comes and I guess and fucking hooks it up, and I can clean all my fucking vintage clothes again. Yay. Oh, yeah. So fucking, I didn't even finish talking about this. So after the yard sale on Saturday, so there was one sale like right up the street that I wanted to get to. So I shot over there, and they had a ton of stuff, but it was like basically a stock sale. You know what I mean? Like they had brand new stuff. So I got like a Gabby's Dollhouse toy for one of my kids. And then I got like a razor, and like they had a stack of video games, and they were all like way overpriced. There was a PS5 game that none of them had the cases, so there's a PS5 disc. It was Dying Light 2, and they wanted $10 for it. They probably would have taken $5. So I was like, fuck, I should have got it. So I went back to go see if it was there later, and it had already sold. because I wanted it for myself, but for some reason I just was like, it doesn't have the case, so I don't fucking want it. But then I was thinking about it after. I'm like, I don't have any games for PS5, and they're like $70, and I just could have probably got a game for $5, like a fucking idiot. But whatever. So so I got a couple things there and then ran back. My wife watched the sale while I was gone. She made like $30 while I was gone. I was only gone for like 20 minutes. And came back, did the rest of the sale, finished up, and then took the kids for a walk around the neighborhood. And I was like, all right, I'm going to run out to a couple sales. There's like a couple on my list that had just started not too long ago. So I left the free pile and took off. Plus, I had to pick up the signs. So I picked up the signs on my way out. And I went to this one sale. It was kind of a bust. All their shit was like overpriced. It kind of looked like they were dealers of some kind. I don't know. I never know, because I'm like, you have all this stuff that's like somebody might want it, but like I don't, like, it doesn't make sense. But you're charging more like prices that it never makes sense. Like some of the and they had like a trailer and shit. So I'm like, do you have a flea market? Like, and I never want to ask, because then you get caught in a conversation. Like I try not to ask questions that aren't like, sometimes you have to ask questions to try to like, figure out if the person has a few more things, and you know what I mean? But this stuff was it was just all stuff that people might want, but it was like, I don't know. I know I'm not making any sense right now, but in my head it makes sense. So I left that sale. I think I got like an overpriced plush that I'll probably just use as a giveaway on Whatnot or something. And so I end up going to another sale, and they've got like a ton of stuff, mainly like clothes and shit. So I go over, and right off the bat I see like what looks like I knew it was probably a remade shirt. It was like a new edition sweatshirt. So I went and grabbed it, and I was like, oh, it's a retro, like made to look vintage shirt. So like, all right, whatever. So I keep looking, found like a nice Adidas sweatshirt, and then I keep looking around, and I see these like beat up looking track shoes, and then they're like sitting on like a brown box. I grab them and I look, and I see inside the shoe it says Adidas, and then it says Yeezy. And I was like, oh shit, these are some Yeezys. And like, she didn't want too much for the shoes. And so then right next to those was another pair of like beat up kind of looking track shoes. And I look, and it says Balenciaga. So I'm like, oh shit, like these are designer fucking shoes. So I asked the lady, and then she had another pair of Nikes. There's a pair of New Balance there that look cool, but they had stains that I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get out. And I just like, I didn't feel like fucking with them. The other shoes were like dirty, but like you could tell that they would easily clean up. You know what I mean? Like they didn't seem like it doesn't seem like it'll be an issue to clean them up. So she wanted like $10 for the Yeezys because they had the box, even though they were like beat to shit. So I'm like, all right, like, so I made a deal for everything, and I think I paid $20 for everything. And I also got a Gucci t-shirt from that same sale. So I had the Balenciaga's authenticated first. I'm waiting to hear back about the Yeezys. I just did that one a couple minutes ago. Did the Balenciagas over the weekend. They came back as authentic. So that was friggin' dope. Now I just got to clean them up. So yeah, I just got to like clean the laces, clean the shoe up. And then, yeah, I got the certificate of authenticity. So I should be able to, sell it no problem. And then, yeah, and then hopefully the Yeezys are legit too. They're both from the same sale. They're like an older pair of Yeezys. And then, yeah, the Gucci shirt, I have no idea. I have to kind of look that one. I don't even know what Gucci t-shirts go for. But we'll see if that one's authentic. So I have no idea. I haven't even looked. I took pictures and stuff so I could look it up online and see, if it even looks slightly authentic, and then I'll, decide what it's worth and if it's worth it to spend a couple bucks to authenticate it. But I had like a credit from like those the last Yeezys I found, the Louis Vuitton ones that turned out to be fake. So yeah, but whatever. It is what it is, but these ones ended up being real, so it's a nice little payday. And that was like at the end of the day. They were getting ready to close up. Like I got home shortly after that. I hate when you get to a sale and then you pay like a set price or whatever and you get back home like shortly after and you see them post like a half hour later. They're like, yeah, fill a bag for $5. I'm like, I just filled a bag and I paid fucking 20, bitch. Like, but I get it. Like, you want to make as much money as you can. So I always feel awkward when I post that stuff is free and people show up and like they hadn't seen the post and like, how much is this? You know, like, I just tell them the price, like what, you know, $1, whatever you want to give, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it ended up raining out of nowhere today. I wasn't even paying attention to the weather, but out of nowhere it started raining. So I don't know if it was supposed to be raining all day, but it's been fucking raining. Not like those fucking hurricanes. Holy shit. We're in like the Northeast and we have our own fair share of bullshit storms, but that shit is crazy. Hooey. Yeah, I bet that affects like shipping and shit for sure. There's probably some packages that are just in limbo. I haven't seen any orders going in that area lately. Most of my shit goes like either in the state or across the country to California, which is weird. It's where a lot of my stuff goes. Like 90% of my orders are to California or like in my own state. So I'm trying to think, what else did I do this weekend? So yeah, so then I went to that sale. Pretty much called it a day after that. Hit a few sales on Sunday. It wasn't like anything crazy. I got a couple deals. Like I got a bunch of polo t-shirts for 2 for $1. They were in really good shape. But I'm trying to think what else. Oh yeah, dude. So I at the yard sale. So there's this guy who he's like bought stuff from me before in the past. And so he usually comes to my yard sales and shit, but he like hits me up on Facebook. And I stopped honestly replying. And it's not like I don't like, you know, he's a nice enough guy and shit. But like he hits me up every fucking time and half the time he won't, like I'll respond to him and then he just won't reply. And like I get, you know, you got shit to do, whatever. But then he won't ever be like, hey, sorry man, I got fucking like sidetracked, you know. Whatever. But then he'll hit me up the next time I post something or like post that I'm having a sale. Like, hey, can you put that shit to the side for me? And like, it's like, and I'm talking about like I've made plans before to sell shit to him, and he won't show up, and then won't say shit about it, and then hit me up the next time I have a, you know what I mean, like stuff like that. And it's not anything I take personally. I understand. Like he's a busy dude, and he doesn't like he's said stuff in the past like, hey, sorry, blah 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 blah. It's like I get it, you know. But like, so he hit me up about putting some shit to the side for him. And I was like, I'm just not going to reply. You know what I mean? I'm busy. I put in the ad, like I'm not going to be able to answer anything before the sale. So, you know, it is what it is. But he showed up with his kids and like he was going through this bin of toys. And I had a little bin of like fake Legos. You know what I mean? I sell my shit cheap. I'm not like, you know, trying to pass shit off as Legos and selling it for top dollar. I'm like, you know, take the fucking little bin of Legos for $1. And so, you know, they're buying all this shit and like making a pile. And his daughter starts talking about this bag of Lego figures that has like a Simpsons head in it. So I look up and she's got a little plastic bag of my Lego minifigures that were not supposed to be in the yard sale. I'm assuming my daughter fucking touches everything. And like she even the other day, like she'll do it when you're not paying attention, or if you're like go to the other room, she just starts like she just is a mischief maker. You know what I mean? Like it just brings her joy to fucking make mischief. And so I'm assuming she put it in there. Like I would not have put a bag of Lego minifigures in, and it wasn't even in with the Legos. It was in with like the toys. And so I was like, hey, I hate to be that guy. I was like, but those weren't supposed to be in there. And I just walked up and fucking snatched it from the little, like, I didn't snatch it. Like, I just kind of slowly, like, took it from the little girl's hands. I was like, sorry about that. You know what I mean? And the little girl was fine with it. And he was like, oh, yeah, no problem. Like, this dude has so much shit. Like, he showed me the stuff that he has at his house. Like, he collects in quotations. And it was like piles and piles and piles of fucking toys. So I'm like, this dude does not really give a fuck about these little Lego minifigures. You know what I mean? I felt a little bit bad because it was the kids. But at the end of the day, it's like, dude, my fucking kids put it in there. So if you guys want to fight, you can fucking take it out with my kids. You know, give them a couple years to grow up and then we'll fucking schedule something, you know, a couple years from now. Give them a few years to train and then they can hash it out over some Lego minifigures later on. But I honestly, I have I didn't see it when I was bringing stuff out. I'm like, how the fuck? I don't even know where it came from. Like, it must have been in that bin, but I just don't, like, I have no idea. No idea how it fucking got in there. It had to have been one of my kids. That's the only thing that makes sense. So, hold on. Let me take a quick break. My kid's still not laying down, and let me try to go get her to take a nap. 1 second. All right, I'm back. So yeah, I had to take those minifigures back. It's probably like $100 in minifigures. So I wasn't just gonna hand that over. Plus, the dad would have just fucking sold it. You know what I mean? He was like, "Oh shit, look, he fucking didn't even realize that these were in there." You know what I mean? So his kids, kids need to shut the fuck up. You got to teach your kids to shut the fuck up. They shouldn't have blabbed about it if they just had kept their cool and been like, yo, I wouldn't have even known. I wouldn't have even honestly known that they were gone. Like, I would have been going through my Lego minifigures and been like, yeah, this seems like an appropriate amount. But it was like the good minifigures too. There's like Star Wars and shit in there. So anyway, yeah, I have no shame. I would have done that to anybody. I would have been like, hey, sorry, those weren't for sale. I don't know what to tell you. My fucking stupid ass kids put it in there. I mean, I will beat them. Don't worry. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to beat my kids. But yeah. So it was, yeah. So then Sunday. Did I talk about Sunday already? I'm trying to think. Did Friday? There's no sales Friday. Yeah, it's like that time of year. There's never sales Friday, but, you know, typically this time of year, there's really not sales Friday. Trying to think of what else. I had some other shit to talk about before I got into that, but I just cannot, for the life of me, remember. I'm trying to get my shit organized. It's hard though, because going into the fourth quarter, like it's quarter 4 is already here, and it's quick. Like, you got to get your shit listed and up because people start buying shit for the holidays soon, and then they stop. Like, you think, it's like Christmas is in December. It's like, yeah, but people are buying their shit like September, like October, like middle of October. Like, the next couple weeks will start picking up like heavy. So I'm trying to get as much shit listed, trying to get like my toys and stuff. I have like old G.I. Joes still that I have to get to. So I'm trying to get as much shit done as I can. And then that way I can just keep on keeping on. You know what I mean? Fucking do some whatnots, do some other shit. See what happens. Oh shit. Sweet. This dude hit me up about coming to check out his stuff. Hell yeah. Hold on, what am I doing here? Let's look and see at my topics, because I'm probably going to have to wrap it up soon. I'm hoping to be able to do hours consistently soon and then do video. I'm still trying to figure out video. I think I've narrowed it down to StreamYard. I heard that StreamYard is like a good place to do video on there. So I don't know. I've got to look into that. I always like sit down. Like last night I sat down and put the football game on and immediately fucking fell asleep. Like, I've just been so tired at night lately. Because I get up in the morning early, get the kid to school, and we're like doing hella shit. Like, I have more time, but I also don't have more time. You know what I mean? Because because I had to split my time. When you have 2 children, like when I first had my first child, obviously, like, most of my attention was going into her. And so now you've got 2 children, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, like, I have to now split, like it's not like I can give you equal amount of attention. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, you can be hanging out at the same time, but like, if you are talking to one over the other, it's like, you know what I mean? It's just like, so I didn't have a ton of time because I just have it's always been 2 of them to, like, you know, get to know my youngest, not get to know her, but like, you know, spend more time with her one-on-one and like do more reading. Like, she didn't want to read ever when my oldest was around. I don't know if it's just because she's like, oh, I just don't want to take that time to like sit down or whatever and stop. But now she like will sit down and we'll read, and like it's a little bit easier like to kind of teach her words and teach her shit like that. No, because a lot of times you'll ask her shit and my oldest will answer. It's like, well, hey, we were trying to teach her, you know what I mean? We know you know the answer, but then she thinks that you're like favoring. So it's like a very delicate ecosystem in the house with, you know, and so I thought I would have more time, like, you know, a lot more time, but then you like, you know, it's just there's different shit to do. But I've actually been doing a lot better. You know, obviously we're doing Whatnot and Facebook now, but yeah, it's just a matter of getting shit in as best as I can and as fast as I can. So yeah, you know what I mean? It's just a lot of work, but obviously it works out when it does. So yeah. Man, I hate Legos. I'm just looking around at all the Legos that I still fucking have here, and there's just like never ends. Yeah, I went to the post office the other day, and like I go out of my way to go. There's 2 post offices, and they're both the same distance, but like one, it's a completely different experience. So one is in like the town next door, which is more like wealthy, you know, Caucasian, just like, you know, generally nicer. You know, they've got like yacht clubs and shit right by the post office, and like you drive down to the post office and it's like, you know, there's this academy with like kids running around and shit, and then across from there is like this fucking harbor with all these boats, and like it's crazy. Like in the summer there's always a bunch of shit. I remember I went down there one time in the summer though, and there was like all these like girls in bikinis. I have no idea what they were all doing down there. It happened one time and it hasn't happened again, so I'm like, did I dream that? But anyway, needless to say, it's a nicer experience. The other one, like, they're fucking, you bring your packages in and they're like, oh, I have to scan. Like, I have them scan it because there's been times when I didn't have them scan it, and then the package shows up, like, gets missing in the mail. I'm like, well, I didn't actually stay and wait for them to scan it. So now, unfortunately, I fucking stay and wait for them to scan it. Like, I don't have a ton of packages where it's like, you know, going to take hours of their time. And typically, like, the amount of packages I have, I'm very organized and shit, and I just boom, 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 boom. It doesn't take me that long at all. Like, there's ladies that will go up there and take like 20 minutes getting a book of stamps just because they want to talk and they don't know, they have a question about this, and like it just takes forever. But my shit's like beep, 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 beep. You have to scan it in. Like, they used to bitch about it to me, but I think they realize now, like, it's just more of like, it looks like more work than it actually is, but it's like, it takes 2 fucking seconds. I'm usually in and out of there in like 4 minutes. You know what I mean? Like 2 minutes to load everything up onto the counter, 2 minutes to scan and hand me the receipt. Peace out. So, but the other one, it's like they bitch. They're like, oh, I have to scan these packages. Oh my God, I have to fucking do my job. And then there's this one guy he's a nice guy, he means well, but he just wants to talk all day about like nerdy shit. And like, I think I walked in wearing like a nerdy shirt one day by accident. Like, I didn't know that he was working there, you know what I mean? I just had on I just throw on fucking shirts because I'm like, all right, I'm going to go home and work out after I get the kid to school and do this, that. So I'm like, I would just, I'm not thinking about it. I just throw on a fucking shirt, and most of my shirts are nerdy. So then that starts a conversation. I'm like, oh, fuck, this motherfucker's talking to me. So now every time I go in there, he still remembers me. I don't go in there often at all. Like maybe once a year. Like if I have one package and I'm driving by, I'm like, fuck, I'll go in. I actually went in there recently twice in the morning, like right when they open, and it's always a line. It's always a fucking long-ass line. There's like a homeless guy in there on occasion. I'm like, what is he doing in the post office? Like what the fuck are you like sending and receiving, sir? No, I'm just fucking with you. Homeless people can use it too. It was just fucking kind of, you walked in, there was a huge line, and just people, the look on people's faces was just like, what the fuck is this guy doing? So as soon as I walked in and saw everybody's faces and saw there was a homeless guy at the front, I'm like, these people have been here for a while, and they're going to be here for a while longer. I will drive my ass over to the other post office. And I go over there, and there's no fucking line. Everybody's pleasant. There's fucking white people walking around with fucking smiles on their faces, singing fucking jingles, and like I don't have to deal with fucking homeless crackheads trying some fucking stamp scam or something. I don't know. So yeah, it's just if I leave my house right now, it's the same distance to go to either one. Oh shit, hold on. I gotta find the baby monitor again. Oh, sweet, my kid. Oh nope, she's not asleep. She's still fucking awake. Man, she was doing good with naps for a little bit, and then it kind of went back, kind of reverted back, to the old ways, I guess. Well, actually, she never had an issue with sleep, but I don't know. Maybe it's because it's the first day she's feeling better. We didn't really get to go and do much today. We kind of just played at the house. As soon as we went, we were starting to walk outside because it was supposed to be sunny. Again, I didn't actually check the weather until after it started raining. But it was sunny in the morning, so I was like, oh, let's go. We got home, and it was like nice out, starting to get nice out. I was like, oh, let's go take the dog for a walk. And as soon as we walked outside to go pick up my mom's dog next door, it started raining. And the dog won't go out in the rain. He fucking hates the rain. So I was like, all right, well, I guess we're not going for a walk. So we came back inside to play inside. And so I don't know. I don't think she got enough energy out. That's on me. It's a busy morning. Mondays always are. First day back to school. But yeah, we usually go for a walk and then we play outside. But we didn't get to do that today because of the goddamn rain. But it is what it is. She'll hopefully fall asleep soon. She's laying there. So I feel like half this podcast has just become me talking about my kid going to sleep. If it was like 2 years ago, that would be all it was. Oh, Halloween, man. I haven't sold as much Halloween stuff as I really thought I would. I've had my costumes up. I have them priced like higher than most of the other people I see who do it. Like, I see people post Halloween costumes. They'll do like $5 to $10. I start at $20. I'm like, there's no reason. You know what I mean? Like, you can send me an offer. I almost always take an offer. And I put in all of my ads, like, or best offer. But I don't think people actually read. Like, I think people just see the price. Because on Facebook, if I drop the price a little bit, then people will like message me and be like, oh, he's dropping the price. Will you take this much? You know what I mean? So I still have everything at like $20 a piece for like full costumes. So we'll see what happens if they like end up, getting sold or whatever. So I've already sold a couple of them, but I'll drop the prices a little bit. But as it gets closer to Halloween, I feel like people get desperate for costumes and they'll just be like, yeah, I'll buy that for $20. Fuck it. So I sold a Spawn costume or a Spawn mask from the comic Spawn, movie Spawn, toys Spawn. I have a shitload of Spawn toys that I got at an auction a few years back. I'm pretty sure that they were bidding me up because they didn't know me. You know what I mean? And so I bid I wanted to buy something. I was at this auction, and I did get some good stuff. I actually made some money at this auction because they had these little boxes of little toys. I remember, and I sold a few of those toys for the price that I paid for everything. I bought a ton of shit from this auction. So there was a good ass auction house. It was 45 minutes from my house, but you had to get there So it was like 45 minutes, and then you had to get there at like between such and such times. It was like, I think between 4 and 6 to like see everything. And there's a lot of shit. So you'd have to get there at like 4 o'clock, go through, write down like the lot numbers you were interested in. Like you could go and, you didn't have to do all that shit, but like it's better to be prepared, because then you kind of know, and then you can kind of look shit up while you're there and get an idea of what you'll pay. But yeah, it was like not a ton of people. You know what I mean? It was probably like 15 to 20 people, maybe less, that were bidding. You know what I mean? And so then the auction would go for like 2 hours. So it was like a 4-hour commitment. You know what I mean? So it had to be like, oh, you're getting some shit and it's got to be worth it. But like, other people are there buying shit for their business or whatever. But yeah, there hasn't been too many auctions lately. That company that was doing it, they were like, oh, this company's taking over and they're going to be doing it, so look out for them. And I like Googled that company, and they're still haven't posted shit. They're like not doing shit. But like, yeah, auctions are fun, man. They're fun, but again, sometimes I feel like the people bid you up if they don't know you, because they're like, I don't want this fucking person coming back here. You know what I mean? So they kind of bid you up to a price where they're like, all right. Then they just stop, and you win it, and you're like, yeah, fuck yeah. And then you just overpaid for Spawn action figures. Some of the Spawn stuff goes for money, but like most of the shit I had, I just put in bins, and I'm like, I'll just put it in the attic. You know what I mean? I do think that Spawn stuff is going to come back. Like, if that movie ever comes out, I don't know, Spawn, the character's just too cool. Like, people fucking love Spawn. And then, like, Marilyn Manson did the fucking song from the movie back in the day. It was fucking sick. Like, everything was cool about that shit. The movie, like, the makeup, John Leguizamo was fucking dope in that. Which, my favorite John Leguizamo movie is The Pest. Is that it? The Pest? Yeah. Yeah, The Pest. I always get The Pest and The Jerk mixed up. The Jerk is Steve Martin, and The Pest is John Leguizamo. But if you haven't seen The Pest, it's fucking funny. It's like the 90s, and Homeboy's just like a fucking goofball the whole time. And then he like meets this old white dude who invites him to like this rich club, and then they decide that like that he's gonna be hunted, so they hunt him. And he like escapes, and they like are hunting him like in line. It's a weird fucking movie, but it was good. It was funny. I have to watch it again, see if it holds up. Although I feel like that dude's kind of annoying with like all his like political shit these days. But I mean, I still watch his fucking movies. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna watch your movie because of your fucking stupid political views. You know what I mean? So. Shit, there was something I was going to talk about when I started talking about The Pest, and then I got myself sidetracked. I was trying to get back on track to some reselling shit, but I just cannot for the life. I noticed with like a lot of I don't have a ton of boxes. But I mean, the only boxes I ever buy are like 8x6x4, and I go through those like crazy. And then when I start to get low, I refill them. But like, I haven't really needed multi-size boxes. I try to avoid buying awkward size shit. And if it is awkward, I just sell it on Facebook. So I don't know why I just decided to talk about that. I just noticed that the other day. I was going through my boxes. I'm like, I don't have a ton of boxes. I do need to order some. If you don't know this, you can order free boxes for priority mail. And they have large priority mail boxes. Those are really good. And you can update the shipping sometimes. Like sometimes if you have ground advantage, if your item was like more weight or was less weight than you originally thought, like if you put 5 pounds, like if the buyer pays for 5 pounds of shipping, but the package comes to like less than 4 pounds, so you change the shipping to 4 pounds, and then you can change it to priority. You know what I mean? So it like keeps it the same price. Sometimes it's lower price. But, like, that's a way to, if you have to, like, you know what I mean? So if you have to use a priority box, it's like, it's not that bad, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying do it all the time, There's like nothing wrong with doing it. It's just like, you're paying a little bit more sometimes. It's around the same price, but like you're cutting into your profits essentially by doing it that way because you're giving them better shipping. But if you need that box in a pinch, it's like it fits a lot of awkward like medium-sized stuff. So I have to order that shit. I'm going to pull up the website right now because otherwise I'll forget. Because I got this motherfucker coming here to put this dryer in. What was I going to put in there? Oh, yeah. Free USPS supplies. So, yeah, so our next whatnot, we were going to do it this weekend. But, again, kids were sick, and then we did the yard sale. And so I think we're going to try to do I think we're going to do Monster High dolls since it's October. And then I'm going to try to do one more before the end of the month. But yeah, I don't know what we're going to do yet. We'll see. And then if we get, once we get better at it, we can do multiple, more than a couple a month. But right now, just where we're at, we don't have a ton of time. And then, yeah, I'm hoping to bring in less stuff, but I don't know. I just got a text from one of the homies about going to check out. He's a guy I met doing yard sales, and he does like reselling part-time. So he gets too much shit that he can't, keep up with. So he just hit me up because he's having a yard sale this weekend to come look before his sale and pick through his shit. So, of course I'm going to fucking do that shit. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't I? That's the whole point of networking. He gave me a good deal last time. And then I hooked him up. My buddy went over there and got a good deal from him. So it's always, yeah. So network. I just had a sale too, but he hit me up when I had a sale. He's like, "Oh, should I come over and check out your sale?" I was like, "Honestly, it's probably nothing you want." You know what I mean? Like, if he barely has time to do resell, like this is all the shit I barely have time to get to, and I do reselling full time. So it's like if I barely have time for it, why would you want to buy it? You know what I mean? It's like, why would you want to buy it and waste your fucking time? So it is what it is. You can stop by and say what's up at the sale if you're driving around, but it's like, I'd rather, you know what I mean? I'd rather somebody give me the heads up and be like, listen, if you're buying this shit to resell, it's just like, if you buy it to resell and you do, again, if you have a flea market, like that's what I aim to sell my shit to, is people who have a flea market and they, can sell their shit cheaper because they're not paying fees, they're not paying to store it, they're not paying, sometimes they're paying to store it, but a lot of times they're just hoarders and it's just overflowing in their house. But yeah, so, and then, I just try to sell it cheap as possible. Like, people will buy shit at my sale, and then when they find out the prices, they're like this guy bought a couple video games the other day at my sale, and he's like, "Oh, so like, how much are these?" I was like, either $1 each or 2 for $1. So like if you buy one, it's $1. If you buy two, it's, and so on and so forth. So he just he bought a stack of them, and then he went back and bought a bunch more because he was like, he didn't realize how cheap it was. It's like, I do that shit cheap. And then when I had another dude come, so initially I wanted to get I had a tub of toys and a tub of video games. I wanted to get 50 each. So the first guy who showed up, he asked how much for the tub of video games. I was like, oh, $150. Sometimes people will just pay that, you know what I mean? And sight unseen. So he's like, oh, let me go through it. So we went through and took some shit out. So he ended up paying, I think, $30 for the video games. And I wanted 50 for the tote. So then I had somebody else come and buy a few video games. So I ended up making probably $70 on the tote of video games when all is said and done. Because somebody came and bought the rest of the video games. He's like, how much for the tub of video games? And I had a Wii Fit pad. I had shit I just wanted gone. And he's a dude who I see in the area. He always has yard sales and he has overpriced shit. I don't know if he sells on Facebook. I don't think he sells on Facebook, or if he just does I don't know where he sells. I know he does yard sales all the time. He'll do them in the off seasons. He does them once a week, and he prices shit way higher. There's no way to make money. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, I'll just fucking give this guy a bunch of extra inventory just You know what I mean? Having a yard sale in your area is a good way to give your other resell, like, is if they're not great at, like, most of the resellers here, man, they don't, like, they're not, there's no what am I trying to say? Like, a lot of them seem like socially retarded. And I mean that in, like, they just, like, have no social skills. They're very rude. And again, if you've listened to the podcast, there's situations where I've been rude at sales. But for the most part, like, when I'm out at sales, I'm fucking being very friendly. I'm asking, like, hey, can I take a look at your stuff if I'm early? I'm talking to them, asking them if they need help, this, that, and the other. But a lot of them just come in, they don't say shit. They're fucking weird. They're awkward. They're like, how much for this? How much for this? You know what I mean? Like, and so, like, the people that come to my sales, they'll just, like, they just grab shit. But it's like, if you actually, like, just take the time to, like, price shit out, like, I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, so they just, like, scoop up all my shit, and it's like, if I can inundate them with fucking useless bullshit that, like, more, I'll do that. You got to be one step ahead of the competition. So yeah. But I used to just pick up a lot of shit when I first started reselling, because you don't really know. You're like, oh, this looks like this is old, or this is, like, should be collectible. And then you look on eBay and it's like $9 for it, and there's like 50 listed with one sold. So, like, that stuff matters. And I've gotten better at actually, like, not having to look that type of stuff up. You just kind of buy similar stuff. And as a result, I've kind of been buying outside of what I normally buy. Like, I used to buy a lot of plushes. I still do buy plush. Like, if I see certain Disney that's like, oh, this looks obscure, And it's, with plush, it's kind of, you can't really miss. It's easy to list and ship. It's easy to just, like, fucking, and you can always sell lots of plush on Facebook, because there's always, like, teachers and shit. You can sell it for like $10 and they'll just come and take it from your house for $10. You know what I mean? So there's ways to get rid of this shit like that. But, like, I don't know. I just have been better at buying shit that I know will sell consistently. I listed some Texas Instrument calculators recently, and they didn't sell immediately. So I don't know if that, like, the market has got, like, it was this one account that would buy. It was like this eBay account. It had eBay in the name. It was like eBay something, and they would buy. You'd list a Texas Instrument calculator, this graphing calculator. You would list it, and it would just immediately get bought by this account. So I'm not really sure, like, who was running that account or what, but, it's just kind of weird that that these things haven't sold. They were selling, like, instantly for a while, so I don't know if the fucking market has dried up. We'll see. I'll try lowering the prices a little bit. It's looking ominous outside right now. It's, like, all fucking dreary and rainy, and so I guess it's late enough into the podcast, and I have a couple more minutes to kill. If you're still listening at this point, I mean, you're a fan. So yeah, my fantasy season's not going well. I continue to be the team that just has points dumped on them. This past weekend, I just had another matchup where a team scored the most points they've scored all season. I'm scoring, like, respectable amounts of points. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing well as far as points go, but I just keep getting every week somebody puts up 50 plus points on me. Even the week I won, I had to overcome a 50-point performance from Alvin Kamara. And it's just like, I don't know what the fuck else I can do. At this point, I'm like 1-4. So I'm not crying. Just sniffling a little bit. I picked up a lava lamp the other day for like $5. I was like, oh, fuck it. I can try to throw it on Marketplace. I thought it was vintage at first, but I didn't actually inspect it. It was a weird, awkward situation. It was this, like, lady who was too old to have a tongue ring, who had a tongue ring. And she was like, It was like in a yard sale. It was like half indoors. It's kind of smelled like cigarettes. It's like when sometimes when you get to a yard sale situation, you're very thrown off. And then they had like this room where they had all this jewelry set up, and they had these lights. I don't know if they were black light or what, but it was like I was like, is this like the light that you have on here all the time? Like it was this little old lady, and this was like this light that was just. I was like, I could not fucking see shit in there. So I grabbed a couple things, but I think it was like a Friday sale, and the lava lamp was one of the things. And I just put it up like to test it, and it's just sitting there. So we have this fucking ugly ass lava lamp in our basement right now. That's just like sitting there. And when you plug those things in, they get so fucking hot. That's what makes the shit inside start to move around. So it gets like fucking so hot. I'm like, these things have to be a fire hazard. So I'm hoping somebody buys it soon. But Marketplace, like things don't really sell that quickly on Marketplace. I have to drop the price a little bit before they start to sell. Let me check my lists because I've pretty much, there's like only 5 minutes left. I thought I was going to be distracted with my fucking kid all the time. Oh yeah, so this is, this never happened before. So it's kind of weird. So I've had people like take signs down. I told you guys about the time, how I had a sign missing. I looked all over for it. Looked all over for it, couldn't find it. So I've had that happen before. I found my sign pulled down, whether it got pulled down or the wind blew it, whatever. But this one, it was like, so I have like a surplus right now of these garage sale signs, the ones that you can buy from the store. Like they've got like two metal, it's just basically like a metal half square, and like the two open sides of the rectangle or whatever are pointing straight down into the ground. And so it's just like these plastics. So you can kind of like, if you have rubbing alcohol or whatever, you can kind of carefully wipe them out and kind of reuse them. Or just what we started doing is I don't even put the day and time anymore of my yard sale because then I have to redo it every time. I just put yard sale today and I put the address now. Because, what the fuck's the point? Just put today. It's one day every time. And so I had put out like a few of them, and I've got a surplus of them right now because we had to buy some for a sale we did a few months back. So I just had extra ones. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I've got extra ones. And so I end up going to get them and go to get the last one, and somebody crossed out the address like with a Sharpie. So, but you can still see the arrow points which way the sale is. But it was just so fucking random that there was like, it was crossed out. Like somebody had a marker on them and they were like, you know what? Fuck this sign. You know what I mean? It had to have either been a teenager or somebody who was mentally ill. You know what I mean? Like there's no way that a normal person is like has a Sharpie on them, A, and B is like, you know what? Fuck this sign. But it was right next to another yard sale sign, like not next to a yard sale sign. My sign was there first for sure. I put it up the night before and there was no other sign there. But they put up like this tiny little sign on top of like the stop sign. So I'm like, it wasn't a stop sign. I forget. It was like a little pole or something like that. But I'm like, I don't think the other person would do that. You know what I mean? Like, it would be a weird thing to like get caught crossing out a sign. You know what I mean? When I can look and see what your address is. Like, I can fucking find out where you are. But yeah, so that was just really weird that somebody crossed out my address on my sign. I don't know why somebody would do that. It's fucking rude. But yeah, at least I went and got my signs. You know what I mean? I go and get my signs right away. Right a fucking way. But yeah, so that's just about an hour. Trying to think if there's anything else I can wrap it up with. Hopefully this dryer guy gets here soon. Fucking hate waiting for people to get to your house. You know what I mean? It's just such an interruption of like what you, because then it's some strangers in your fucking house and you have to like stop what you're doing to let them in, and then they like never, they always come in with wet fucking shoes. If it's raining out, they're coming in with wet fucking shoes. So my whole floor is going to be fucking wet. So whatever. I just want this fucking person to get here and be done. You know what I mean? Because I got to go get my kid at like 2:30. So I want them to be here and done before I have to go get my kid. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. Let me see. All right. Yeah. So that's the podcast. Remember to check me out on Instagram, Perry Flips with a Z. Because that's the cool way to put fucking, it's extreme. You'll get the same amount of content on there, which is like just every once in a while it'll be a photo dump on my fucking stories. I'm fucking terrible at Instagram. And then Whatnot, Flips and Giggles, eBay, Flips and Giggles. Check it out. Yeah, that's the podcast. Oh, make sure you tell your friends if you like the show. Subscribe. Make sure you tell them that they won't learn anything about reselling. They might learn a thing or two about how to handle confrontation in the aggressive world of yard sailing. Anyway, I'm trying to kill time to get. There's 15 seconds, I think, till I can to officially say it's been an hour. I'm not even talking into the microphone. Is this gonna fucking pick up? Fuck. I'm sure it was picking up. It's just I was being very lazy with my microphone technique. Anyway, that's the podcast. Thanks again. I'll talk to you.